It just made me think of the cursed. I have a cursed image folder on my phone, and one of the images in there is one of those titty mouse pads, but it's Mercy from Overwatch, and it is just stained with you know what.
Hello everyone and welcome to Anime Club After Dark, the podcast that delves into all things anime, manga, and otaku culture related. I'm your host, Alex, but you can call me Senpai, and joining me tonight, I have our poser extraordinaire, Natai.
Oh, hi, Mark.
Every time. It's been a while since you've been on.
Yeah, it's been quite a while, you know, like, the army kidnapped me, I've been tortured, I've been through hell and back again, I've just been sitting on my ass playing with cables, I don't care.
It's Assyrians, man, they killed you. You're actually dead right now.
God, no.
Anyway, so we also have two brand new voices on the podcast tonight. So why don't we have the first one introduce yourself? Go ahead, Vlad. Or no, go ahead, Brian.
You fucked up!
I fucked up!
Yada yada. I guess it really is time for me to get started, huh? What's going on, folks? You can just call me Raid if you'd like. I have been watching anime ever since I first discovered the wonderful magical world of Bobo on Toonami. That was a trip, and since then has been in the top 10 for eons now, and I'm here to be entertaining.
You're off to a good start.
Hope. Alright, and we have our second new voice on the podcast, Vlad.
Hello, I am Vlad. I am the local foam-flinging feline. My anime career started properly with, Sailor Moon, Yu-Gi-Oh! What's the other off-brand Pokemon / Yu-Gi-Oh? Digimon, there we go. Yeah, I didn't like that one as much.
Digital monsters.
Didn't like that one as much. But yeah, started, classic kind of late 90s, early aughts anime, and have been continuing to watch pretty consistently since then.
All right. And you're also here for a second reason.
I am. So I did a little project because I need an excuse, quote unquote excuse, to do anything anymore. So I made a crossover piece. I love Konosuba. Konosuba's just a riot, even though none of the characters are even likable. They're all cancerous. But you love the show anyways. You want to see more adventures. So, in honor of Megumin's just grotesque naming system, I created, for my YouTube channel, a Nerf blaster that is called the Chun Chun Maru, named for Kazuma's sword. So, that is on my YouTube channel. If you go to tinyurl.com/lowlyexplosion, that will take you to the video. I did a Nerf Strife. I hydro dipped it with flames and did some vinyl decals on it. It's really cool. I threw some mega memes in there for added measure. So if you desire to see what I do for my day job, if you will, check out that video. It's pretty cool.
Yes, and nice. I will also put a link down below in the description to it, so you don't actually have to go back and listen to it to type it in.
I thought that tinyurl.com/lowlyexplosion was pretty memorable, and
it is memorable, and it's very easy to type in.
Good job. That's a good URL,
right? I'm so happy that wasn't taken.
Yeah. Actually, I would kind of expect that to be taken, honestly.
Honestly, just thought it would direct you to whatever the lowly equivalent of meat spin is, where it's just lollies jumping out at you everywhere.
Or just
no.
bakuretsu.
Oh dear.
Alright,
Indeed.
well, yes, so welcome to you two. It's your first foray into this madness. I hope it's not your last. But I have a bit of sort of news that we want to talk about before we actually get into our topic. We're actually doing a WTF tonight, so we're talking about whatever the fuck we want to talk about. But before we get into that, so over the last 2.5 weeks now, as of the time of this recording, my anime list has been pretty much non-existent. So we've actually talked about this a few weeks ago on the podcast about how some of us on the podcast use it quite a bit, myself included. I didn't realize until it was gone quite how much I needed it in my life because I'm actually going through Crunchyroll. I'm actually relying on Crunchyroll now to tell me what episodes I've watched, and Crunchyroll's not very good at remembering that.
Really, you're having issues with Crunchyroll. Remember, there's a history feature.
Yeah, it doesn't work half the time though.
What do you mean it doesn't work half the time?
If you watch stuff between like on your desktop and then on your phone and then on a tablet and then on a gaming console, it has trouble sometimes keeping all of that straight.
No, mine's always synced up pretty well. What throws me off is there's 3 other people that use my account, so like one person
That's your own damn fault though.
It really
That's
is.
what I
One
was gonna
person
say. There's about
binge
5
watched.
people.
Yeah, one person binge watched Darling in the Franxx, and I forgot which episode I was on. I was like, oh no, do any of these plots sound familiar? Oh no.
Oh no.
So Alex, let me be your psychiatrist for a bit. Lay down on the couch and tell me what do you feel this says about yourself, that you had such a difficult time without your precious animalist.
It tells me that I have a really bad relationship with my father.
Oh, now that's a big mood right there.
Not really, but
Get off the couch.
get off the couch. Wow. So my psychiatrist has summarily kicked me off the couch. Okay, I see how.
I didn't sign up for this.
You didn't sign up for you.
I just want you to
You're
know
not
that's
getting
gonna
paid for it.
cost your insurance company like $1.50 just for that 10 minutes right there. So hope you enjoyed it.
In the words of Phoenix Wright, eek yeti. But no, I mean, I know that a lot of people have been making jokes that they're just updating their privacy policy, and that joke is getting fucking old really quick.
See, I think that joke has died out by now, thankfully, but it sadly has finally caught up to the different sites I'm using, and it haunts me.
Yeah, I know. It's like because you know that like you get that notification, you have a new email, and you're almost afraid to. And it's like it's gonna say something about a privacy policy. I fucking know it.
Lord, every single website that I had, basically used that updated their privacy policy, it logged me out, and then I'm like, oh, that's kind of odd. Log back in, and it's like, hello, we've updated the policy. Would you check it out? And no, I'm not doing that.
It's like, no,
You can
leave
leave
me
me
the
alone,
fuck
please.
alone.
So then I leave my websites to go play some games on the computer. Then Steam's like, hello again. And I'm like, no, I'm done with you, please. So then I get
No,
off
Morgan
of,
Freeman, I don't want to hear about your stupid policy.
I know. Get off of Steam and just log into my phone. I'm trying to just get onto the Safari application, and the iPhone's like, sup.
That's
Like,
the best way
hey,
to describe it.
how you doing? You know that privacy policy thing that's going around? Here's another one.
I feel like none of the privacy policies were actually updated. I feel like some ingenious hacker out there planted the privacy policy virus into some site, and it just kind of spread like wildfire just to freak people out.
I mean, that would be a great practical joke, though, wouldn't it?
Like
I'm waiting
herpes
for
in
someone
high
to come out and
school.
say it.
I mean, at this point, I'm not counting anything out.
Hey man, I have my towels in the ring. All right, that's what I'm saying. I'm sticking with it until proven wrong.
Luckily, I mean, Mal is coming back a little bit at a time. I think we've pretty much got most of the features back. You still don't have access to the mobile app, so that's still fucked.
There's a Mal mobile app?
There's an official Mal mobile app, and there's a bunch of third parties that have made third-party apps too. The Mal mobile app is actually surprisingly good. It actually
didn't
has a
check into
feature
that,
where
actually.
it's just called the +1. So you push that button, and it takes you to the list of anime you're currently watching, and all you have to do is touch the poster for the anime, and it automatically adds one to the episode count that you've watched.
I like it when you touch
I've
my
been
anime.
manually updating all of the animes I'm watching on my notes section in my phone because Mal's been down. I'm like, well, I gotta go into the caveman status and just do this shit manually.
Oh no, I can do one better than that. I've actually got a little notebook that I've been using, and I've been writing it down with a pencil.
No, I'm afraid. It reminds me back in the days where I had to write down on paper every single Grand Theft Auto cheat code I need to remember.
Yes, the good
it's
old
coming
days.
back, so hopefully it'll be back up soon. And I think there's like a recurring thing that you can do if you're a Mal supporter, like a payment, and I think they're gonna rescind that for the last. You don't actually have to pay for the last month, so they're definitely taking care of their users, which is good.
I mean,
Alright, well,
they
that's good
should.
to know.
I think what I'm finding out is that I'm less of a weeb as like I thought I was, because I've never run into an issue where I can't remember how many episodes into something I am, like ever.
Well, be thankful you have a blessed memory.
I don't have.
I have the worst
I remember
memory.
something in my mind told me, please don't tackle Gintama, and then I was 5 episodes into Gintama and somehow skipped to 19 and had to go back. So
Nani the
I don't know
fuck?
how that happened. Yeah, Nani the what exactly?
Not either what.
Nani the what?
So you've dabbled in Gintama, you say?
I dabbled in it. I have neglected putting it off for so long because I'm like, oh man, I really want to watch this Gintama show, man. It looks right up my alley, and then I see the giant. There are 412 episodes, and I'm just
fair.
like, that's.
Could
I
be
can
worse.
barely make it through 24.
Don't be like me, because I'm like stuck at episode 86 because there's like a certain point where I sort of quote unquote binged it, which is not a good idea. Just watch like 2 episodes a day and you'll be good. I need to get back into it.
No, what happened
as well.
was you found a beautiful thing called the Monogatari series.
That's true. That's also true. God, it's so gorgeous.
I need to watch it so bad, but I've been going through the age-old question of, oh man, I want to watch Monogatari. Where do I start?
I'll send. So it's pretty simple. There's like a picture of like you watch it in this order and done. I'll send it to you in like.
I hope so, because every single one that I found it tells me something else, and I'm just like, listen, I want to have a good time, and you're making me have a really bad time right now.
I'm
That's
trusting
totally
Natai on the order. You sent me that picture. I'm like, all right, this is
Yeah,
the Bible
I'll
for
send
how
to
to
you as well.
navigate it. The I don't know any of the characters' names, but the one like white-haired cat girl is really really cute, and
That's called
yeah,
Best
she's
Girl.
the best.
That's Best Girl?
Exactly.
I've seen a couple really cute figures of her, and the temptation to delve into that side of being a weeaboo is overwhelming.
Tell
Don't
me
do
about
it,
it. She's
man.
like
As
one of my
someone-
favorites.
As someone who delves into that side, don't do it.
I
It's
saw
money for-
okay, so for $60, I saw a swimsuit Megamine figure at Colossal Con, and I was like, "Oof, maybe, no." And then I walked by another booth, and they had Girls und Panzer. They had the 2 of the tanks, but they weren't like any of the recognizable tanks. They were 2 of the Finnish tanks, and the like. Not to say that the Finnish girls are bad because they're adorable, but like they're not main characters. They're very much supporting characters. And I was really thinking about it because the tank plus the little figures were only like $25. It's like, man, if it had the Russian Loli, if it had the T-34, I'd be so there. But it wasn't the right tank, wasn't the right girl.
You know, just out of curiosity, because I feel like this delves into what you were just talking about, dude, can we all, like, go around and actually talk about 1 or 2 instances where you were at a con or a store or something, and you saw something, you're like, man, that's a great deal, or, man, I've never seen that before, and you regretted getting it because, oh, man, I have a list.
Oh,
I don't
boy.
have so much of that. I have a list of things that I don't regret getting, but I regret spending as much as I spent on them.
That works, too. That is viable, sadly. Go on.
I spent $200 on a figure.
Well, I mean, you can't just say a figure. Well, what's the figure?
It was a Haruhi figure, Haruhi Suzumiya.
Oh my
$200.
God.
Well, to be fair, it wasn't a 1/8 or a 1/7 figure. It was a 1/6 figure, so it's a very large figure. And it was a limited edition, a limited run figure that, as far as I know, was sold out because it had been made, like, I think it had been released 3 years prior to when I bought it. So it was the only place I was at a convention. It was the only place I had seen it. So everywhere online was sold out, or the people that were selling it like on eBay were wanting like $1,000 for it. I was like, I'm not sinking $1,000 into a figure that isn't holo.
You said the 2 words that are like my biggest triggers in my like knee-jerk purchase habit, which is limited edition,
Limited
which
edition.
is
Limited
my
addiction.
addiction.
Limited addiction. I mean, it might
No,
as well
the
be an
addiction. I assure you, the addiction is not limited. It is
No.
definitely, it sticks around.
Yeah, I have spent more. Okay, so my dumb purchase, I spent approximately $23 on an airplane I will never fly again in a video game, simply because I had all of the planes for this nation, except for the one new premium that they released. and it's a trashy. Okay, the Spitfire is a good plane, but the variant that they had was a prototype that was loaned, like they lent it to the Italians as a like, hey, maybe this will work for you guys, right? And it didn't because it had a very poor engine. Long story short, I spent more money on that than I should have just to be a complete. It's
Lord,
such
I
a
know
pretty
that
plane,
feeling.
though. It's so pretty. Too bad it's so bad.
I know that feeling all too well, man, especially with these kinds of games that come out, and it's like, hey, we just released a set of new skins or something like that, and you're like, oh, I want like 2 out of the 5, but now I need all 5.
It sounds like you're talking about League or Overwatch or both.
Hey, any of those games that have come out recently, League of Legends, Overwatch, fucking Rainbow Six Siege, Fortnite, all these weird games.
Can I ask a question about that? I don't like. I've been playing video games for a long time.
Agreed.
Like before there was online play, and when you actually wanted to do multiplayer, you had to go to someone else's fucking house.
Also agreed.
You had to have an awesome LAN party where you duct taped your buddy to the ceiling so you had enough space.
Yeah,
Classic
they were
images right
holding
there.
the cable.
Oh man, that's a good one.
The best images.
But no, I don't understand this. I don't understand paying for skins. I really don't. Like, I would not ever do that. I don't care. Like, I play with a base character forever.
I'll tell you what. Here's the thing.
It's
So,
no. You know what it is for me? There's an old episode of The Simpsons that talks about Barbie dolls, and everyone's going fucking nuts over a new Barbie doll, and it's literally the exact same as the one that they came out with last year, except it has a different dress. And that's what skins are to me.
I'll tell you what.
It's the same Barbie doll in a different dress.
Yes,
I'll
that's
tell you
exactly
what I think
it.
about it. Here's the thing. So, companies want to monetize their games post-launch, and they want to make money. That's fair. They're companies, they want to make a profit. That's cool. The way I see it, it's like, if they just sell skins and you can, like, purchase them with real money or, like, whatever in-game currency bullshit they have in, then sure, whatever. If it's a skin, doesn't affect, like, gameplay and stuff, then I don't really care. Because, it's just, like, a cosmetic stuff. Sure, it'll be cool to have, like, things for free that come with the game itself that you already paid for, but when a lot of games like try and like nickel and dime you for bullshit, when someone's like, yeah, just those skins, I mean, you can technically get them with like in the game itself, but you can also purchase them for money if you don't feel like working to get the currency for it, and I'm like, whatever, it doesn't really hurt anyone,
I would never pay actual money, like real fucking money, for DLC that did not in some way either change the game or improve the video game experience.
Hey, well, you know what? To counteract that, listen, man, if someone releases a character, and that's a cool character, and they're wearing a blue shirt, but then they say, hey, you can pay $2 and have them have a yellow shirt, and I'm like, oh, wow, yellow's my favorite color. I can pay $2 for that? I'm going to pay $2 for that. Now, my character has a yellow shirt, and I'm enjoying the game slightly more.
But the gameplay hasn't
That's
changed.
fair.
I mean, but that doesn't matter to me. I'm enjoying the game personally.
But why would you
slightly
want
more.
the gameplay to change? Because let's say you and another player like play against each other, but you bought the skin and it changes the gameplay. That means like the other person who plays the same character without the skin, like it's not fair. You pretty much bought power.
I'm going to share some words of wisdom that a drunk man in Windsor, Canada once told me.
Oh, this is
Go
starting
for
off
it.
beautifully.
Right? He said, and I'm going to try not to slur it the way that he did. You find something that you love in life, and you let it slowly kill you. Some people like cheap hooch, and other people like hot women. I like to just wander around the streets of Windsor with a bottle in my hand. Basically, some people enjoy putting some money to have like a really kind of to them special thing in a video game that doesn't actually affect their interactions with other players necessarily. I can't tell you how many times my mouse has hovered over the purchase button to get the Black Kitty Diva skin because, ooh, that's adorable. There is no other. The mech has a tail, okay? Like, that shit's adorable.
I just don't understand.
I mean,
Hey,
some people love the streets of Windsor with a bottle in their hand. Some people love Kitty Diva. Like, I love Kitty
Yeah.
Diva more than I love the
I like
streets
how
of
we're
Windsor.
putting
And
Kitty
more power
Diva.
to you.
I like how we're putting Kitty Diva on the same level as some random guy on the streets in Canada.
This random guy could have been spouting more wisdom. We don't know.
Hey man, that guy also could have 12 copies of Overwatch, each with Kitty Diva. You don't know.
He could
you
be
ever
Diva.
just like feel like you
He
wander
could be
into
Kitty Diva.
I mean, nah. You ever just feel like you wander into a magical hobo situation where like he's gonna give you some magic beans or something? Like
No, because
this
the
was
last
this
time I
kind of
walked
guy.
into a hobo situation, I was at a red light and he knocked on my car window and said, "You got any change?" And I'm like, "Whoa, it's 2 a.m."
The last time
That's
I had
not
somebody,
so much magical as it is maniacal.
Oh god, it was terrifying.
I'll share a little anecdote of the last time I was in Atlanta and somebody tried to sell something to me. If that sounds
all right.
entertaining. I was in, shoot, I forget the name of the street. I know the exact restaurant I was at. I was at the Porter. It's a little hole in the wall. It's really good. Good beer, kind of a very subdued ambiance. So
Let's not implicate this restaurant if something actually happened.
No. It's just the area that it's in. It's in the artsy district. You go in while the lights are, or while the sun's up, and like there's a dude playing an acoustic guitar, and like there's some dude painting. Like it's a cool place. But then you're in there for like 3 hours, and you come out, and it's a little dark. I'm walking to the car, and this guy comes walking over to me, waving a CD, and I'm trying to get in the car, and all I hear is "Big Booty Sluts, $5." I'm like, oh no. I just hop in the car as fast as I can.
I don't blame you.
If he had said, like, MILF Hentai, $5, I would have been like, hey, Mom, got a 10? Like, that would have been another story, but nah.
That's even better, shaking down your own mother for fucking
For a
porn
tenner.
money.
I mean,
For 2D porn, for that matter.
the best porn, you mean?
You say that like that makes it worse. It actually makes it better.
No, I mean, from the mother's perspective.
I mean, I don't know. I still have yet to get the no naked anime text from my mom, so I think I'm okay.
My parents, they still call it anime. So
Anime.
yeah, I remember I was watching. I showed my father not too long ago. Because he's rather old. He had never seen Cowboy Bebop, and I was like, "Oh, it's from an older time. You could appreciate this. It's a phenomenal show." And every time he wanted to watch it, he'd always say, "Oh, where can we watch that Beboop cartoon?"
Beep.
And it hurt me internally, but I'm like, "Oh, father."
Oh, dear.
It's just
The
people who
only
don't know anime and they just don't know how to do it. It's funny.
the only anime I've ever actually sat down with my parents to watch, and I actually sat them down to watch this with them, was Your Name.
Oh my
Same.
gosh, good choice.
My father's sitting through it. My father is like the worst person to go watch a movie with because he's one of these people that will turn to you and ask you a fucking million questions during the movie. And I'm like, just fucking watch it and you'll fucking find out.
To be fair, there's a lot of cultural stuff in there that a Western viewer wouldn't necessarily get. A typical Western viewer, I should
Which
say.
I explained
wouldn't
to
get.
him as it was happening.
Right. I had the benefit of watching Your Name with a friend of mine who is actually a Japanese culture major, and she was explaining some of the things that were going on in there. So, like, by the end of it, in the last, like, couple minutes...
You got educated, son.
I got educated, but, like, I'm just enthralled, and in the last couple minutes, she touches my arm, because, like, I'm sitting there, I'm barely keeping it together, I'm just watching this unfold, and she touches my arm, and she's like, Flat, are you okay? I just turn to her, and the waterworks begin, and I'm just like, no, I'm not okay! And that's the story of the last time I cried.
Yeah, Shinkai does
ugly
that to you.
I have another story about that. So when I actually first went to watch Your Name, I went in theaters and I went and watched it with Riker. And for those who don't know, Riker can be an asshole sometimes. So I had not seen it, but he already had, but he just wanted to go see it again. So I'm sitting there and I'm just watching the movie, and I can tell like every like 10 minutes or so he turns and he just stares at me for a few minutes, and he'll look away, and then like it would get to like a really, really sad part, and he would just sit there and look at me because he was waiting for me to start crying. And then so it gets to about the end of the movie, and not to spoil anything, if you haven't seen Your Name, go fucking watch it. But it gets to the end of the movie, and the credits start playing, and he turns to me, and he just sits there and stares at me. I'm looking at it like tears are running down my face, and he's just laughing his ass off at me. And I'm like, you fucking bitch.
What a dick. Oh my god.
I wish I had something entertaining to say for that, because I went to see it with a friend of mine. And the whole movie consisted of just being like, and then at one point it was just incoherent, like, female blabbering while tears were streaming down her face. It's like, I would put the face in that, and put the hand and open it. I'm like, I don't know what you're saying, but I feel you.
So a local cinema is actually doing, all summer long, they're putting on a bunch of the Ghibli movies. So I'm really tempted.
Hold on. Ghibli? Really?
Ghibli.
Yeah, we're not having this.
Bite me.
This is the same argument for people who say GIF and GIF.
Jip.
We are not
GIF.
opening up this can of worms. We will be here for 4 hours.
Can opener in hand.
No. We will be here for 4 hours.
I can
Anyways,
officially say we will not be here for 4 hours because it's getting fucking hot in my apartment.
Fair enough.
So I am very
Take off
tempted
your
to
shirt.
go and see Howl's Moving.
It's such a good movie.
It's still my favorite.
They've also got Spirited Away.
Can anyone actually name a Ghibli movie that is markedly terrible?
They
No,
don't
there are
exist?
some that are weak.
I wouldn't say that there are any that were terrible, but there are definitely ones that they weren't as prominent as the others.
I think
but
it's all
are there
relative.
any that are unwatchable?
No, there's no unwatchable Ghibli film.
That's-
I'd have to argue that.
I've never heard anyone say that there's any. I mean, I have heard people say that there are Ghibli movies that they like more than others, obviously. But I've never heard anyone say that there's a single Ghibli movie that they've ever watched that they thought was absolutely horrible and they couldn't watch it.
Yeah, no, I haven't either. So I think we're in agreement on that one. Unless if someone wants to sin right now and say they hated or thought a Ghibli movie was really bad, you may speak. And
I will
let the
say,
world
if
know.
I ever hear anyone say that Nazca, The Valley of the Wind is a terrible movie, I will fucking throat punch them.
God, I know from experience how hard that hurts too. I don't want to be throat punched.
I will go Alex Jones on your ass and throat punch you.
You're gonna hunt down the
Damn
globalist.
globalist!
You know, there was actually an anime film that came out in the theaters in certain parts of the country that I actually didn't get a chance to see, and it was actually a movie based off of an anime that I really liked from. I can't remember if it was 2016 or 2017, but it was the movie for Bungo Stray Dogs, Dead Apple.
Ooh.
I don't know if you guys had watched Bungo Stray Dogs at all.
I've
but that
heard
show,
many good
first
things
off,
about it, actually.
I have
yes.
not.
Please, it is phenomenal. Both the seasons were great, and I'm very sad that I missed the movie. But I was really
Is the
looking
movie
forward
like a sequel? Like a continuation?
I think it's just a continuation in movie-esque format. I really don't even know what the plot of it is. I mean, if I looked it up, it'd be a piece of cake, but I really want to see because Bungo Stray Dogs are just so good. It is like a honorable mention for my top 10. I love it.
It is spelled exactly how I thought it would be spelled. Holy wow.
Everybody there was a mixed battle in the community about should you spell it Bungo or Bungou. No one can seem to decide. I don't know why, and I can't either because I'm like, oh, I mean, you say bungo, why is the U there? It's silent. I don't know. What the hell do I do?
The D is silent.
This isn't This isn't the French language. Like, you don't pronounce half of the letters.
Exactly. It's just like, so is the U there, and do I need to pronounce it, or can I just throw away the U? But no one can give me an answer. Very confused.
I'd like to buy a vowel.
I just want to tack it onto the end there. I don't want it to actually do anything. I just want it to hang out there for me.
Yeah, I just want to throw it at the end of the sentence. Like, just right after the period, like it's going to end with a period, and then just throw the U over there, just to throw them off.
That's my side hoe over there. Don't worry about it. My side
Yeah,
view.
everyone. That's my side vowel. Like everyone, no one's supposed to know he's there, but he's there. But yes, no. Please watch Bungo Stray Dogs. You can watch on.
I'm looking at the,
Is it- I
the
thought it had
character
been
designs here.
If it has, I am unaware of it, and I probably will not watch it anyways.
I'm kind of liking these character designs.
Don't be... Yeah.
They look rather schnazzy.
The characters in the show.
Yeah.
Yeah, they got the whole detective thing going on. It's great. I'm not going to get into Bungo too much. Just go watch it for yourself if you haven't. It's great.
Yeah, it's from what I've seen of it, they dress like fucking like 30s detectives.
Yes.
It's got the style of clothing they wear. It kind of reminds me of I don't know. Some people may not agree with me on this, but it reminds me of Bakano.
Yes,
Yeah,
I was
I
actually
can-
excited to say that. The clothing style they wear is very reminiscent of Bakugo.
Very
Yeah,
much.
It was great. So I thoroughly love that style.
Oh.
It's Bones, so you can never go wrong with them.
Yeah, there you go.
Has Bones
Mhm,
made
mhm.
a bad anime?
Yes, it's
Probably.
yes, it's called My Hero Academia.
I will
Oh, fuck
fight
off.
you
He
on
opened the
that
worms.
one.
He opened
It's
the
not
worms.
bad.
Oh my god.
It's not. It may not be bad, but it's not good
Look,
either.
I will.
It's not like one of the best shows ever, but it's good.
I will
not
Bekuretsu
bad.
all over you with the Chun Chun Maru. Like,
Me sitting up here sweating because it's number 2 in my top 10.
Listen, Alex, you know you have a bit of an antagonism towards MAJ, so chill.
I mean, to be fair, it's not just MHA. It's like 80% of all shonen.
okay, but do you enjoy X-Men? Like, that's the other question. Because
Do I enjoy like the comics
just X-Men in general. Like,
of like all the comics?
Well, see, you
like,
can't say that because the X-Men comics are great. The X-Men movies are debatable.
I will agree with
mean,
you there, but
I will say-
the concept
I will
of the
say-
X-Men. Do you enjoy the concept of the X-Men?
Do I enjoy the concept of the X-Men? The idea is good, I suppose.
All right, then what's
But
the
I mean,
difference?
how is that? How is the concept truly any different from like the Avengers or Justice League or?
Aw,
It's-
dude, it's different.
I think
But
it's the
no, I mean,
it's the
the concept being a gathering of superheroes.
I think it's how
It's more than that,
prolific
though.
the traits are. I think it's like, what is it, 95% or 80 something percent of the people in My Hero have quirks. Like,
Yes, I think it was 80%.
Most of the planet,
Yeah.
basically.
it's how prolific the quirks are and how just common they are.
Yeah.
Like the Avengers, those quirks, if you will, are a lot less common than in the X-Men world or in My Hero.
I mean, half of the Avengers are just really strong people. So
I mean, but
One of
that
them
has,
uses a
that
bow
has
and arrow.
literally nothing to do with why I don't like MHA.
You just don't like it
hey
because
man,
it's
to each
stereotypical.
their own. I've always been berated for the fact that I do not like Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. So, yep,
But you like the original, right?
no.
Oh, so you don't like any of the Full Metal? You don't like anything
I,
from Full Metal?
in my FMA is a great show. There's a reason that it's on the top of thousands of people's lists, and it is great. I put it in the spot. I'm like, yes, you are good, you are great, but to me, I do not
It's
like
not
you.
fantastic for you.
It's
and that's
the
fine.
yeah. It's just you are over there. You're great. I acknowledge your greatness, but I'm gonna stay over here with my oddly buff, ripped men, and you can stay over there. Cool.
It's for me. It's the same for me with shows like MAJ. While season 2 was airing, most of my friends who were watching, it's like, this is the best show ever. Like, it's a 10 out of 10. I was like, I don't know, man. It's kind of super flawed, but I still enjoy it. So it's like, sure, but
I give
I get
give
what
Boku no
you're
Hero like a solid 8 out of 10. I love it, and I was reading
Yeah,
the manga before
for me-
the show even came out. But it has its flaws, but it's definitely not awful. It's great. It's
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
but see,
solid.
That's
It's a
the
good
difference.
time.
You can admit that. Most fans won't admit that.
I mean, you have to be honest with yourselves, man. Even your favorite anime of all time, whatever it may be, it probably has flaws. There's nothing that's perfect.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. I will be the first to admit that my favorite anime of all time, Spice and Wolf, has many flaws. I would be very happy to lay them all out neatly in a row for you.
I would do the same thing for JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, man. It's got plenty of flaws.
I actively shit on Konosuba for being just a story with no likable characters, with the exception of maybe the barmaid. And other than that, everybody's just absolute cancer. Yet it's enjoyable because you just want
Wiz
to
is
watch.
probably the only one who's like sort of nice there.
Would you put
I don't know.
Konosuba on the bar between proper anime and just barely above a shitpost?
You know what? That is a very accurate way of describing Konosuba. Like,
Actually,
I mean,
you know what?
it's like
Someone-
right.
someone-
It's like right above Pop Team Epic in terms of shitpostiness.
Someone told me this once, and I absolutely agree with it, that Konosuba is the anime equivalent of spending 24 hours on 4chan.
As someone
That's
who's
about
never even
right.
spent 30 minutes on 4chan, I don't know, but I'll take your word for it.
that sounds about right.
Even more than that, we talked about it before, Alex, but Konosuba is basically Seinfeld the anime.
It is
That's
basically.
like the
Really
beauty of it.
is.
It's like
That's
Seinfeld if you gave Jerry and Elaine fucking inept superpowers.
Inept superpowers.
I got one of my
Oh
buddies
lord.
to start watching Konosuba, and his deal was he would never watch it unless he was super drunk. I was like, all right, That's probably the
That's
only
a good
way that
anime
you
to
will...
watch drunk, though. To
Oh
be
yeah,
fair.
because you don't have to follow it. You just have to watch Megumin just yell explosion and just burst into flames and then fall over like the little chuny she is. And you just got to watch Darkness get hot and bothered from all the beatings that she takes.
Oh yeah.
And he was like, "This is funny when I'm really drunk." And then he ended up not going to a couple of the days at Colossal Con. So he stayed back and watched Konosuba stone cold sober. And I messaged him at one point because he was asking what episode he was on. I'm like, I don't know, like, has Kazuma been broken out of jail yet? And he's like, wait, Kazuma goes to jail? I was like, oh, you're still in season 1. Never mind. It's not like you
season
can
2 is
spoil
so
it,
good.
but like it's such a hard show to spoil.
Can I actually suggest something that would have made as good as season 2 actually is? Can I suggest something that would have made it just slightly better?
Go for it.
Replace the voice actor of Veneer with Dio's voice actor.
No.
I feel like you can do that for a lot of things. Me personally.
Yeah, but I don't know. Veneer's voice actor was good. Why would you say that?
I'm not saying
Save
it wasn't
Dio
good.
for
It
like
was
the
very
Demon
good.
King or
But
something.
Just imagine it being like 10% better with Dio's voice.
I don't know. I would say you should save Dio for like the Demon King to be like something ridiculously stupid.
That's
Oh,
fair.
yes.
At a certain point, I just want I want Danny DeVito to do the dub. Like every character, I would just want Danny DeVito
Every character
to
is
be
Danny
out
DeVito.
there.
Oh, what character from the anime? There was an anime that came out that got dubbed recently. I was like, they have to get Danny DeVito as this character. What the hell was it?
Oh,
It was like everyone was like, "Holy crap, that would be hilarious if Danny DeVito."
Some-
oh, it
was
was
it
no, it wasn't. It
ReZero?
wasn't an anime. It wasn't an anime actually. It was
Oh, no, it's
Detective
Detective Pikachu.
Yes!
They wanted
Yeah,
Danny
have you
DeVito
seen-
God.
have you
to
seen
be
that
Detective
trailer
Pikachu.
someone put up of like he used a lot of clips
I
of
crossed
Danny
that.
DeVito on top of that?
And
I
they're
put
like
that under
all
my list of human failures because that goes like right above like having Terry Crews be Doomfist in Overwatch.
For sure.
they're all like clips from Always Sunny too. So it's just Pikachu
Yeah,
running
it's
around.
so
Who wants
good.
rum ham? Like
I'm an animal.
Can I tell
the
you?
trainer or whatever is like, hey, Detective Pikachu, did you find anything? No, but I found this Magnum condom from my Magnum dong. You know, it's just like, what? Pikachu just talking about his dong. It's not cool.
Can I tell you? There's a Hollywood celebrity who I would love at some point before he fucking dies to just do a dub for an anime. It doesn't have to be like a big part. But I just
Morgan
want to
Freeman.
hear his voice in anime.
Ian McKellen.
I want to hear Christopher Walken voice an anime character.
Oh no,
who
I'm blue.
Doing
I'm
the
trying to
walking.
be, I'll die.
you got to pick one anime and one character for him to voice. Who is it?
Okay, let me think about this for a second.
I got it.
Okay.
Beetlejuice from ReZero. There you go.
Who?
Beetlejuice from
Oh
ReZero.
Oh, that would be
This!
I don't know why, but for some reason that when you mentioned the question, the first person that popped in my head, I want him for some reason to voice Master Roshi from Dragon Ball. I don't know. I don't know why. I have no like reasoning behind it. For some reason, I just pictured that scene Super where he's doing the Kamehameha, and I'm like, why do I picture him, Christopher Walken, saying that? I don't know why.
Oh man, I don't know off the top of my head who I would have him. It'd have to be in a comedy, I think, to make it really good.
so he can really sell it.
Veneer.
Oh yeah, have him voice Veneer in Konosuba season 2.
There you go.
I mean, I'm trying to think like a character from JoJo's that he could do. I mean, if they ever get around to fucking doing an anime adaptation of Part 5, I'd love to hear him as Guido.
You're hurting my feelings right now.
Could
you
you
know
imagine
Did you know that it's been
Christopher Walken portraying
532 days
Guido
and we have no
Mista,
Part 5?
Aww.
I love the fact that you just know this number off the top of your head.
2019, dude. Winter 2019, it's happening.
You keep
just gotta
saying
say
that
it.
it's not happening.
No, it is. Winter 2019, it's happening.
No, because we had to get Captain Tsubasa, and then we have to get a fucking anime about the cells in your fucking body.
Oh, wait,
All
fuck.
right, but that's like they already did that in America as a cartoon. Oh shoot, what was that called?
Osmosis Jones the anime.
Yeah, basically yes. Yeah. It was really good when done as a cartoon. I can only imagine it'll be better as an anime.
Alright, scratch that. Fall 2019, there we go. Part 5.
Okay, that maybe, but no. Could you imagine? Because I mean, Natai, you haven't read the manga yet, which you fucking
Not yet.
should. But Brian, could you imagine Christopher Walken as Guido Mista?
That sounds hilarious, but okay, hold on. Now that I'm thinking about Mista's lines, that'd be pretty fucking funny to hear. I can think about it.
Smell a liar.
I
I had the weirdest
And then you just have him
experience.
you have him do the lick, and it's like,
Ugh.
yeah, tastes like a liar too.
No, please. What are you doing? No, don't take my clothes off. Oh, no.
I had the weirdest
What?
experience when I tried to start watching JoJo because apparently I jumped in like halfway through part 3. I didn't realize
no.
it because it was labeled as episode 1. And like
Oh, the
they're
OVA
just
then.
Oh,
they're just
yeah.
in the desert, like this dude's chasing them with water, and I think he's
With the
blind.
dog.
Yeah, and like somebody
there's
just
a dog for
punts
some
the
reason.
dog. Like
That's one of my favorites.
I had no
Oh,
idea what
that's
was
something.
going on.
That's something to note, like Vlad. If you actually do start watching JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, I hope you have like you don't have an aversion to dog violence.
I heard that somebody in the first couple episodes just beats the Christ out of a lady.
No, in the
Like-
first episode, Dio kicks a dog in the face, and then not even 20 minutes later, he incinerates the dog.
Oh
Yeah.
my
Yeah, he throws
God.
the dog in an incinerator while it's alive.
Dio's
Yeah,
a son of a bitch.
People forget that JoJo is dark as fuck.
Yeah, thank you.
And isn't there okay? So I remember hearing a friend rant about a part where just this like somebody poisoned somebody and they're trying to figure out how they poisoned them, and then they just pull this random Chinese dude into the scene. He was behind a curtain or something. They do like the big reveal of this random Chinese herb selling dude, and they're like, "This is totally a legit plot point, and not a
Oh,
racist
this is
stereotype."
This is from, isn't that? I think that's from part 8. That's in the manga.
Is it?
Yeah, that's something that's relatively recent from Part 8, I think.
Yeah, that was maybe like, I don't know, 20 chapters ago.
My friends have. I absorb things through my friends in such a way that, like, watching JoJo, I'm gonna know, like, some very small landmarks, and when I get to them, I'm just gonna be like, oh, that's the part where this happened. Oh, okay.
You
yeah,
and
Dio's a
everyone
son of a
else, it's
bitch.
That's the cool thing about part 4. So Morio, with the town where the story is set in, it's fictional and all, but they keep showing you, oh, this part is like where like this stuff happened, and it had like people think of it as a special place, or like, yeah, this guy that they turned into a stone, it's like a landmark, so people go there and like pray for it or whatever. It's just the guy who turned into stone, because JoJo. It's like, it's great.
I like that you can just explain something away as, because, JoJo. Like,
Yeah.
like it's a totally legit thing.
It's legit.
You can get away
There's
with
a-
anything.
There's a
because
moment
JoJo.
where a chick falls off a cliff and then she hits a rock, but the rock is like a trampoline. It propels her back to where she was before she fell. And yeah, that makes sense.
Nani the fuck? Like,
There's also a scene where rainbows start appearing in the sky, and if you're affected by them, everyone starts turning into snails.
What? Which part is this?
what?
Go read the manga. Part 6 is a wild ride.
Part
Oh,
6 is
God.
something else.
Part
See,
6 is
at
my favorite
first I
part,
was
and no one ever
going-
agrees with me, but I love it.
I was going to accuse you of just stealing part from Double Rainbow all the way across the sky, but no, that is
There's a scene where there's rainbows, it's raining, people are turning into snails, there's a priest who makes himself blind so he doesn't turn into a snail by punching himself in the head, like what?
Amazing.
the-
I will say, Jolene is pretty hot. I like her design.
Oh, she's second waifu. I have one waifu and no one will ever beat her, but if someone had to,
Who's
it'd
that?
be her. Oh, we're not opening up the waifu can.
No, I want to
Wow,
know.
we're sitting here with a can opener. Apparently, let's open up the waifu can.
Don't say, yeah, I have a number 1 waifu, and then say, nah, I'm not gonna tell you about it.
Or you know what? You got me there. You got me. All right. Personally, for me, since the day I saw her when I was, I think, 4 or 5 years old, first
Oh,
time
damn.
playing Street Fighter 2 Chun-Li.
Chun-Li's the best.
I
She's got those
love
thighs,
that
man.
Dies for days.
Thighs.
Dude,
for
legs
days.
for days. She took Never Skip Leg Day and made it like her whole reality.
She never skips leg a minute. Like, my God.
I think in every Street Fighter game, she has like 2 punching moves. 2. Everything else is a foot.
Everything else involves
As
kicking.
it should be.
Yeah.
How about you, Vlad? Who's your number 1 waifu?
Oh man, it changes with the season. Like, I'm not even gonna lie.
What a slut.
You weak person.
Man, yeah, you
Have you
are
not
sly.
met
I am
me,
a loyal,
Alex?
humble man. And you are sitting around here going from salute to salute.
Look,
Thought
You
to thought.
weak.
I'm not a whore. I'm a luxury slut, okay?
A
And if
luxury
you can't
slut.
afford me, then you can't touch the merchandise. I currently
Thought
have
X
a
got
big thing for 02 just because of the way that she says darling.
Everybody does.
Like, okay,
Yeah.
I think that it just goes to underline like how lonely of a person that I am currently, because when she says darling, I can feel my heart flutter a little bit. I'm like, I want somebody to call me that.
Hold on. Darling.
It was close enough that it did the thing. Holy shit.
It did the thing.
It is great. Like the voice actress they got for 02 is really good.
Oh,
I like her
yes.
a lot.
I'm going to track down everything that she has done ever after this.
Can you imagine how fast her fucking when she finally gets a figure, how fast that's gonna sell out?
Oh my
Oh,
god.
I think on the Crunchyroll store they have a Figma of her,
Yes.
and I think it's already sold out. I think it is. And
Oh
it
no,
doesn't e-
I
it
know
doesn't
what
even
you're
come out
talking
till
about,
next
and
year.
that Figma sold out, I think, in about an hour.
Yeah, I mean, I figured it did. I think they're also making a Nindroid of her, but I don't know if that one's for sale yet.
I don't want to think about how many cum tributes there's going to be to her.
I'm gonna have to ask you to cease. It just made me think of the cursed. I have a cursed image folder on my phone, and one of the images in there is one of those titty mouse pads, but it's Mercy from Overwatch, and it is just stained with you know what.
Oh, wow.
So speaking of titty mouse pads, I almost bought a fucking titty mouse pad at Colossal Con because it was
genuinely
McCree.
want one of those. Like, I can't find them anywhere.
It's good
without,
for
like,
your
going to
wrist,
Amazon.
like legitimately.
Like my wrist is genuinely having problems, and I was like, you know what? If I'm gonna get one of those cushioned mouse pads, I'm just gonna go all out and embrace the meme and just titty mouse pads.
So I kind
know
of
what
want
this
the
wrist
Pepe
needs?
butt cheek
Titties.
one.
yes,
I kind of want the one that's just Pepe grinning and it's his butt cheeks. Because I feel like I won't be judged as severely for that as like if I just had Darkness's Tiggle bitties on there.
oh, that's
You're a man of culture.
a man of culture. You are, good sir. Darkness is best gun of Supergirl.
That's very true.
No.
Wiz, all right, Wiz, come on.
Are you threatening me?
I'm saying I would rather take a nap on Wiz than I would on
Okay, well, I'm
Darkness.
not counting Wiz as like I'm talking about like the main four. I mean, you know,
Oh,
Kazuma's
well,
obviously
yeah.
best girl, but
Kazuma
Darkness
is
my
best
favorite,
girl.
so-
Yes.
I mean,
Continue.
the guy who keeps drawing Kazuma as a trap, that's best
no.
girl.
Oh no,
Trapsuma, yeah.
I'm afraid.
Oh,
Trapsuma,
Remember that
Penis
part?
should be the only
listen,
thing that's afraid. Like,
That gave me PTSD to back when everybody was drawing Link from Breath of the Wild as a trap.
oh, those were good days.
No,
Remember
they were
that
not.
part? Remember that part in season 2 of Konosuba where Chomsuke would keep like playing with Whiz's breasts?
Yeah.
Oh yes, I remember that scene.
Those just look like
What
they'd
a
be
wonderful
so comfortable
show.
to lay on. I like to
What a
imagine I'm a
wonderful show.
wholesome person, but I know that I'm a big salute. Plus wholesome.
You admit to it. You admit that you're a slut, not a luxury slut. You are a slut.
Yeah, he just admitted he keeps jumping from waifu to waifu.
We have this on recording. You're not
Yes.
getting out.
Play
of this.
back the tapes. No, I'm not getting out of anything.
Iggy.
It'll be like the fucking Watergate tapes. There's mysteriously 5 minutes that are missing.
Oh my goodness.
Then we'll have Vlad talk. I am not a crook.
I'm not a crook.
Except for him, it'll be I'm not a lolicon.
Oh, one
Look,
thing I wanted to mention actually, because I think we mentioned it earlier today, was Fooly Cooley's back.
It
Yes,
is.
Fully
Cooley's
Cooley.
back.
Oh my God, Fully. I wanted to talk about this so bad. So you have seen
We
it, right?
sidetracked
Yeah,
so
I-
hard
it
in the
was-
last
it
30
was
minutes.
great.
I'm just gonna
It's
say
really
that.
cool.
We're not. I don't want to spoil anything, but I think
No.
you and I will both agree. Like, if you watched Fully Cooley back in the day, fucking go watch it. This is a worthy sequel.
Oh goodness, yes, good. It's already starting off as a banger. Like it was 17 years we've been waiting. Well, not even waiting. They never planned to do this. I don't think.
Yeah, I mean,
This just came out of the blue.
I mean, you're not wrong.
Like,
So it just came out of nowhere, and we're all like, "What?
oh, woo, what's this?
Oh,
Ooh, what? Okay, well, I'm not gonna say
Mr.
that, but no.
Obama?
No,
Hello,
stop.
police?
I got one better. It's Mr. Twump. Can I stay with you in the White House?
Oh, no. You know what this means, actually? Corey in the house is no longer in the house.
Nope, he's not.
Oh.
I remember
Corey
when
in
that
the House was
actually
the best
wasn't that
anime.
was actually on Mal for a while, wasn't it?
It
Corey
was.
in the House,
Yeah,
yeah.
it was like
That is
Sweet Life
They
of
did
Zack
that. They
and
did that
Cody.
as a April Fool's joke, but then they quote unquote forgot to take it off.
I remember that being the biggest meme for a little while, and it was a
I remember
great
that, too.
moment.
That was a wonderful time.
So there was someone, and to kind of bring it back to Fully Cooley, I cannot for the life of me remember now what they said, but there was someone that said the best way for this new Fully Cooley to end, because there is going to be 2 seasons of it, 2 6-episode seasons, said the best way it can end is with Toonami
1 sec,
having...
I'll put my headphones down.
Okay. Well, no, this has nothing to do with the story, but I said the best way for it in would be have Toonami come on with a little like message after the credits roll for the final episode, and just say thank you all for watching. We had a really great time bringing this back, so much so that, and then it kind of fades to. For the life of me, I can't remember what they said, but I was so much in agreement of another show that really needs more seasons. But I can't fucking remember what it was now, and it was so good. Fuck. It was a pair of wolf ears, and it said Spice and Wolf underneath of it.
Of course you would want that. See, let's take the Spice and Wolf part out and say that Toonami is going to gladly be hosting the first dubbing of Part 5 of JoJo, and I'll be very happy. I don't care how trash it is, I'll watch it.
But no, it was, I think, like, could you imagine... Could you even imagine that, though? Like, if they said, we had a really great time bringing this back, let's do it for another show.
I really do hope they would do it for other shows. Like, on a show that ended on Toonami, that it only got 2 seasons, and I'd hope they'd bring it back for a third, was a Space Dandy.
Yes, that would be another great announcement at the end of Fooly Cooly.
I would love to have a Space Dandy season.
Well, and the official website, the Japanese website for Space Dandy, still has it as listed as an airing show.
Oh, really?
They want to make another season.
So Space Dandy is one of the it's one of those animes that I use to introduce people to anime. The other one is Sword Art Online.
It's a good gateway anime. It's a great
simply because
anime.
Sword Art Online, you don't need a whole lot of cultural understanding of Japan to get it. Like, you can draw enough parallels to stuff like Ready Player One, and it's okay, but it's bad enough that it's hard to be worse than it. So anything else that you pick after that is going to be better. So, like...
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Debatable. There are things worse than
Sword Art Online, but not really in the
mainstream.
But
I doubt that those people will be
Future Diary.
You know what? Okay, so I have only watched Future Diary in a very sleep-deprived state, and all I remember... I used to work nights, and one time I pulled a 63-hour day and then went to watch anime while drinking with friends, and all I remember is the girl just going Yuki all the time, and like they were trying to slice this one dude's phone in half in the right way to kill him properly. Like, that's all I really got from it.
So I have to say, you don't actually have to watch Mirai Nikki or Future Diary. If you really want an actual good time while watching Future Diary, we actually did a drunk cast last year where we watched Future Diary and then took a shot every time that Yuno said Yuki.
What a mistake that was.
That was a huge mistake, but very entertaining to watch.
Oh, man. I mean, so I used to do a thing.
And I was doing shots of Fireball.
Oh, God,
Idiot.
You poor bastard.
And I got drunk incredibly quickly, so much so that I was hitting on people who were in the fucking chat on the Twitch chat, watching along with us.
All right, speaking of like interactions with people that aren't technically there, I knew somebody at one point. They got really, really drunk, and I was trying to show them the original Star Wars movies because they had never seen them because they were heathen, and. This person, when Obi-Wan... This is how far we got into Star Wars Episode 4.
Okay.
When Obi-Wan is trying to coax R2 out of the rocks and goes, "Come here, my little friend." This person goes, "I can't. You're in the movie." And I'm like, oh my God, you are gone.
Oh, no.
So I just had to, like, close the laptop.
Are you sure he wasn't high instead of drunk?
No, it was drunk. Oh, God.
Does that sound like something you'd say when you were like having a
high would have been funnier.
Puff
like high would have been. I just want people to know that medical marijuana is in fact illegal in Michigan, and a lot of my friends do live in Michigan. So, no, it's not that this person was high. They were very drunk. They could have gotten high if they wanted to. They lived in Michigan. It was just. I've never had a worse time trying to watch Star Wars.
I like how it's specifically Star Wars.
Yeah.
I don't know why. That makes me giggle.
So you brought up Star Wars.
I opened
Oh,
up that
no.
can of
So
worms.
it's now time. It's now time for me and Natai to have an argument.
Star Wars is
All
my
right.
favorite anime.
So crack your
ready.
knuckles, Natai. It's time to throw down. This is Megalobox right here.
Oh,
Okay,
you're
let's go.
about to talk about Megalobox and the Happy in this fight. You
No.
are damn mistaken.
No, I'm talking about Star Wars, but I'm gonna fight him like I'm in the fucking Megalobox ring.
Oh, got me excited for a second.
I just think rocket sock and robots
I am
whenever I see
I am
that.
Gearless Joe.
Anime Club After Dark, the podcast of disappointments.
No, fuck you. Okay, so you
Come
completely
at me, bro.
disagree with me, but I'm gonna go ahead and get my thesis out of the way first. Star
Okay.
Wars as a franchise is dead.
Yes.
Thank you.
Objection.
I'm with
okay. So here's why it's not dead. You still have the all movies to watch.
I'm not
That's
saying
one.
that the idea of Star Wars is dead. I'm saying that going forward, Star Wars as a franchise is dead.
Saying it's dead is saying like, okay, it can never be redeemed because I don't like a movie in a
I don't
franchise.
think it can be redeemed.
All right.
Was
Why
it?
don't you think that?
It would
People
take-
said that after the prequels, and then people were like,
And
oh,
here's the
Force
thing.
Awakens was a good time.
And here's the thing. Like I'm too young to have actually gone and seen the first 3 Star Wars movies, the original trilogy in theaters.
Same, I wasn't even born.
But I was old enough when the prequels came out to actually go see those in theaters, and I have to tell you, Episode 2 is not very good.
Episode
And
1
3
isn't
is-
good. Holy.
Episode 3 is kind of it has its moments.
Episode 3 is like the lesser of all of them
But-
in
but
terms of
Episode
how
3
bad it is.
Episode 3
it's
has
okay.
its moments, but I'm gonna say no one's gonna agree with me. But Episode 1 was not that bad.
Now this
Jar Jar is the
pod
best
racing. No, it's
character in Star
awful.
Wars.
It's not as bad as fucking Last Jedi.
That's not true. Last Jedi is divisive as fuck, but here's the cool thing about it.
It's
it
divisive
can like
as fuck
go.
because it was very badly written.
How is it badly written?
Because
The cool
I'll
thing-
tell
let-
you who actually would think it was like a brilliant masterpiece. A fucking pink-haired feminist.
No, that's stupid. I really enjoy Last Jedi. I think it's flawed, but it's very cool. I like that they tried to shake up the like status quo and they're not afraid of taking risks. Here's the thing about Last Jedi. It tries to demystify all of the like myths, as like that makes sense actually, dummy. All of the like legends of the entire like series. Instead of being like a story about one lineage that's like for some reason all of them are like the one that everything centers around, it's like, no, let's try to open this up to many more characters, which means they come from different places in different universes, and that's cool. I like that. Like the end of the spoilers by the way for Star Wars, but sure. Like the end of the movie pretty much implies, yeah, like a lot of different people are going to be Jedi, not only this like one lineage of Skywalkers, which is
I
cool.
would buy that. I would buy that explanation if they had said it 60 or 70 or 100 years after Return of the Jedi, where you actually didn't have any interaction from any of the original characters. But
What's wrong with having interaction with the original characters?
because all they do is they introduce them and then fucking kill them.
But
I'm
there's a
sorry,
reason
killing
for
a
that. It's
character
some-
is not always
there's a reason
it's
for
not
that.
always a good way to write your way out of a situation. It's not.
Neither is
Okay,
making
sure, but
them
there's a
go
reason-
to a secluded planet and just meditate forever. Like, that's also
And then
not
drink
a good way.
like walrus titty milk.
All right, they always have to include the blue milk. Like, they're.
Oh, man.
Here's the thing, like with
That was a very graphic tit for a movie. I just want to point that out. Like,
that was too graphic for you.
it was the way that it ran down his beard. Like, it gave me the heebie-jeebies. But I'll
And
give
also,
you
I'd like to
this.
say,
I will.
go ahead.
So, and I firmly believe this. They write a new trilogy for every generation, in a sense. So, like, your generation of Star Wars was 4, 5, and 6. The next, and George Lucas said this himself, I wrote episodes 1, 2, and 3, not for the old Star Wars fans, but for the new Star Wars fans. I think that's what's happening now. Like, this new movies are being written for the newer fans and not necessarily for the older fans. There is enough callbacks and references and, you know, the hitting the right notes for the old fans, but it's not for the old fans.
Well, they got that
For
right.
sure,
If
'cause
that-
they
if
tried
that's
to do
their
something
aim, if that's their aim,
different.
they hit their mark exactly right.
Yeah, I think that is the only way to do it right. I mean, even just the nature of film. Oh, God, all right, I do YouTube. I make like essentially amateur films for a living. the nature of filmmaking has changed so much since the original trilogy
sure.
released. Like, now, every movie, no matter how serious it is, has to have a couple jokes in it, a couple feel-good moments. Like, gone are the days where you...
And that's the biggest problem. No, it doesn't. I mean, writing...
I agree.
Good writing
Yeah.
essentially hasn't changed. I mean, a good story is still a good story. You can fuck up a good universe.
Right. I just find it more often than not a movie that, if it wants to be a blockbuster, which they all want to be, they will include an amount of laughs that I find uncomfortable for storytelling.
I don't know. Look at Justice League. Batman v Superman was super serious and it was bad. Then they said, okay, let's put more humor in it. That'll make it better. No, it was still bad. It's not about the amount of laughs you have in a movie. That's not it. Sure, the whole Marvel Cinematic Universe made that sort of it sort of made a template of how to make a movie for like the Marvel stuff, and it works for them until it kind of stagnated. Then in the last few Marvel movies, they have been trying to like be a bit different, more creative with it. But that doesn't mean every movie need to be like this. Like, for example, give me a sec. I'm having a hard time thinking about like a blockbuster movie that's not like filled with like jokes and stuff that works. But putting more laughs in your movies doesn't mean it's like better. That depends like entirely on your tone, what kind of tone you're going for. Like, I'm sure Dunkirk wouldn't be better if there were jokes in it, right?
No, that would completely defeat the purpose of the movie.
Well, there you go.
Was amazing.
It was a
I
great
haven't
movie,
seen it, by the
but
way.
if they had a fucking song, a comedy song and dance number in there, would you still say it was a good movie? No.
That's my
Yeah.
point.
No, I agree with you there.
Well, you see, that's a movie that was like, I haven't seen it, but I've heard it's amazing, and people watched it. And
It
it's
also
not
wasn't
like
a
jokey
family
stuff.
movie, is the thing.
No, definitely not.
Like,
True.
Dunkirk was a historical drama as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
Like,
And I mean, and you're playing to a different audience there, so you kind of have to factor that in. But this is also endemic of something that I've noticed, especially recently with franchises, is that Hollywood has done everything that they think they can do to A, dumb everything down for the lowest common denominator, to B, get as many people in the movie theater as possible. And I'm telling you, eventually people will stop going because they don't like being pandered
You
to.
think
I
Last
can give
Jedi
you
is a
3
dumbed down version of Star Wars?
Huh?
You think Last Jedi is a dumbed down version of Star
I
Wars?
absolutely do. I think it's a story
How?
that appeals to the lowest common denominator of moviegoers.
How? It constantly tries to defy everything you think about Star Wars. How do you
Just because you're
say that's dumbed down?
No, just because you are subverting expectations does not mean you've written a good story.
They're not only subverting expectations, they're like trying different things. How is that dumbing down the movie?
Because you don't have to think about the movie to watch it. I mean, if you do,
That's not true.
Yes, yeah. Listen, fucking Vice Admiral Gender Studies is a fucking terrible character. Rose Tico is a terribly written character. And by the way, she fucking sexually assaults Finn during that movie, and no one fucking batted an eyelash.
Really?
all right,
Yeah,
that is a
she
bigger
gave
When did
issue
she
than
assault
we want to get
him?
I don't
into.
know.
That's a bigger issue than we want to get into right now.
But I'm saying, like, if the genders were reversed in that movie, do you really think there would be a thing about
No,
it?
there'd be a
Definitely
huge
would
thing
have been.
about it, and I feel like that's the part that we don't want to get into because that's another
No, I
Listen,
know.
hour
I
and
know.
a half
let's
conversation.
let's skip this
The
part.
whole fucking side bullshit story about the casino planet was only there to make a political point. It served zero purpose, and I wish all the characters in
It did serve a
I will
purpose.
disagree with you on that.
Okay, no. Hold on, Alex. You say, yeah, you don't need to think about it. Okay, in this movie, they introduced the idea that, yeah, there's like a whole industry that's like gaining money from the conflict between the rebellion and the New Order, and it's like the same people like both factions are buying weapons from the same
Manufacturer.
not what am I looking for, seller, whatever. It's like, how is that dumbing down? Then you give more layers to that conflict.
I mean, because you don't. How much thought does that take?
I think that the casino part was more so to show, you know what? Sometimes you take a gamble, and sometimes it just doesn't pay off. But you know what? It worked out in the end for them, and that's because the Force was on their side, because Han's lucky dice were in play, or whatever. At the end of the day, sometimes your gamble doesn't pay off. I know that better than anybody else, I think. God knows how many times I've walked away from blackjack tables broke as a son of a bitch. Like, man,
I mean,
Windsor
that's
has a
kinda-
lot of my money.
I would just like to interrupt this scheduled programming to inform you that I was sent a photograph, and I said, "Oh, wonderful! I never receive photographs. What could this possibly be?" Someone had just taken a walloping bite out of the side of a Kit Kat bar, and I am very disturbed.
Okay, I think we can all agree that is the worst crime.
That is absolutely the worst.
Hello, President Trump? I need you to arrest
yeah.
somebody.
Yes.
No
I
pardon.
know a guy. His name is Cancer. Trump owes him one. That we need to use that one.
All right. I want to interject here with a little bit of history, especially because etymology is an interesting thing, and the term blockbuster gets thrown around a lot, but the term blockbuster has been around
I missed
since
that store.
the 40s, but before,
Very true.
in a different context, it was used to refer to the aerial bombings capable of destroying whole blocks of buildings during World War II.
Mm-hmm.
And then in 1975, the word blockbuster was used to describe Steven Spielberg's Jaws, where
Jaws. Yeah.
lines for that movie were literally around the block, which is why they called it a blockbuster. And then 2 years later, you
Yeah,
had
Jaws was probably
Star
the
Wars,
first one.
which was also a blockbuster. So
Yes.
I found that rather interesting. I heard that a little while ago, and I thought, that's a bit of
that term
tidbit.
does get thrown around a lot today
It
for
does.
movies that clearly are not.
right. Like at this point, I think it's more a monetary benchmark that they look
Yeah.
for, as opposed
it
to,
is.
especially with things like the Alamo Drafthouse, where you can just buy your seats online and you just kind of wander
Yeah.
in, like. It,
But anyway,
yeah.
getting back to what I was saying, like this whole thing that I talk about with dumbing down franchises is not just indicative of Star Wars. In fact, you can look at the big three science fiction franchises in the world, which is Star Trek, Star Wars, and Doctor Who. They've all been dumbed down over the last 5 to 10 years, and most of the fans that were around before don't like it.
Do you think that's just indicative of our culture as a whole?
I think it's indicative of Hollywood not living in a fucking bubble and not realizing what's outside their own yard.
I think it's just
I
us being
honestly
stupid.
believe that. I believe that people in Hollywood live in such a bubble that they think that they're always right, and if anything they ever do bombs, it's not their fault. It's the fans' fault, and that was shown perfectly in Lucasfilm's reaction to the fans' backlash of The Last Jedi. Now, I'm not a marketing major. I didn't do any kind of marketing classes in school, but I do know that the best way to handle fans of your franchise saying that your latest film is bad is not to point your finger in their face and say, no, you're a fucking racist if you didn't like it.
No, the way that you
Sure,
handle
that's
that,
stupid, but let's
the way
sure, but that's stupid. But let's for a sec not. Don't let that color your opinion of a movie, because that's just silly, dude.
I'm not saying that necessarily has anything to do with the movie, but it definitely reflects very badly on the character of the culture of the people that made it.
Sure,
If their
bad
immediate
PR
response,
is very
if their
bad.
immediate response is to a majority of people that go see a movie saying that it's bad is you're a sexist, you're a racist, you didn't understand, you're too stupid. I mean,
Yeah, that's silly as well. Like, remember the what was it, Ghostbusters, like the all-female Ghostbuster movie? I remember like the producers was like, yeah, people didn't like it because they don't like all-female cast. That was just stupid on their part for sure.
Thank
And, I mean,
that
and you
Ghostbuster
look at
movie for resulting in my favorite Vine ever, which is just a guy going, an all-female Ghostbusters movie? The feminists are taking over. I'm an adult virgin. Like, one of the better Vines that ever came out of Vine, followed very
Rest in peace,
closely
Vine.
by The Peepus Room. If you don't know what The Peepus Room is, you need to just YouTube it. It's like,
I'm gonna have to look
oh
this
my
up.
god,
That sounds
it's beautiful. It's fuck, I
Rest in
forget what the
peace,
guy's
Vine.
name is, but no, as a consultant specializing in marketing and product design, the way that you fix that problem of people didn't like your movie is you say, no, you guys look at it a little bit differently. We did Star Wars, but we did Star Wars in the most Star Wars way possible, where we took the shell, the nougat that is Star Wars, and then we examine the social issues again, just like we did with the originals, and then you come up with some bullshit about how the originals tackled social issues back then, which surely they did, but not in such a real way. Like,
I still wouldn't agree with that, but that's definitely
That's
a
how
better
you do
tact
it,
to
like-
take than actually
Yeah.
waving your finger in their face and saying, "No, as a fan, you're a racist, you're a sexist, you're too stupid, you don't understand, you're a homophobe."
right. The way that you approach it is not, you're wrong. It's, no, guys, look at it like this. See, isn't that far more beautiful? You're just looking at it at the wrong angle. Like,
Or just saying, you didn't like this one, maybe you like the next one.
right? Like, I don't know.
I mean, I get it. Every franchise, no matter how good you think it is, has their fucking goose egg. Like, I mean, Star Trek has its goose egg. It's called Star Trek Nemesis. Fucking don't watch it. I mean, I will say this: Star Trek now has a brand new goose egg. It's called Star Trek Discovery.
And I will say that it has a brand new, bright side, which is the Orville, which is
the best Star
oh my
Trek
God.
series on television that isn't Star Trek.
I love the idea
I haven't
that
seen Star Trek in so long.
that Seth MacFarlane was just kind of like, you booted me off of Star Trek? That's fine. I'll make my own Star Trek, but I'll do it better with blackjack and hookers. And then he did it, and it was amazing. Like, I'm so hyped that we get season 2 December 30th.
I am also like there is a connection between Star Trek and Star Wars recently. The same person has been responsible for the quote unquote reboots of both, and that's J.J. Abrams. And I think that's also part of the problem because he is not as good of a director as people say he is.
I will agree. Yeah, I'll agree with that.
He knows how to make very low. I hate to use this term. He has a way of making really low IQ popcorn flicks.
Yes.
And that's about it.
Wait a minute.
What else has he worked on?
Besides
Super 8.
he did Super 8, yeah. I forgot
Super
about
8
that.
was good.
He did oh fuck, what else has he done?
I'm Googling this
Drawing
right
a
now.
fucking blank. Okay, you go look it up.
All right.
I'm drawing a fucking blank.
Oh, he did 10 Cloverfield Lane and the Cloverfield
Yeah.
Paradox. I think those are pretty good.
No, he didn't make these.
He was
just
involved in
kind
them.
of responsible.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that these films are necessarily bad. I'm just saying that they aren't well,
They're not intellectual movies. He has not done a single intellectual
you don't
movie.
have to think about them a lot. You can just go to the theater, strap on your feed bag of popcorn, and just enjoy it for what it is.
He's done a whole lot of like Mission Impossible and like Armageddon, Joyride. Holy crap!
Armageddon? Wasn't that Michael Bay?
He was involved with Armageddon.
I believe that J.J. Abrams was a producer.
J.J. Abrams was directed by Michael Bay. I believe that you're right.
But I mean, I call him Jar Jar Abrams
That is a good way of describing him.
because he's basically been responsible for ruining two of my favorite franchises.
Misa ruined an entire franchise for you.
I mean, I don't know why he doesn't go. I don't know why he doesn't go to the UK and just take over Doctor Who and then have the triple crown of ruining sci-fi franchises under his
Oh
belt.
my god, he did the 1995 movie of Casper. Holy shit.
That was a really good Jar Jar impersonation.
Thank you. I'm known for being very good at it. I'm good at several impersonations, but they only get better with
Likewise.
more alcohol, and I'm running out of alcohol. So
Your Russian gets better with alcohol.
Russian is always better with alcohol. Is actually proven fact. The Russian tongue is a very heavy tongue, and vodka make tongue very heavy.
Have a nice day.
Ah, salute. We're almost
But
completely
anyway,
done
that's
with
all I got.
Kamchatka.
That's all I got to say about Star Wars. Like, you can, hey, if you think Last Jedi was great, that's fine. Don't. I've reached the point where I am very comfortable with not actually seeing another Star Wars movie.
I think
ever
that there
again.
is a difference between enjoying a movie or a series and being engaged by a movie or series. And like,
Oh, there's a big
I think
difference.
that Konosuba, for example, is a very enjoyable series. It's not very engaging. Like, the modern Star Wars movies, I think, are enjoyable. They feel right, and that's the point. They're not meant to. Whereas
I would.
I
would
won't
actually
open that.
kind
I
of
won't
agree
open
with
that can of worms again. I'm done.
Evangelion, I think, engages you. It doesn't always make you feel good.
It fucks you.
Oh my god. My
no,
friend put it
I-
best. You don't watch Eva. You experience Eva.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Can we
And
talk?
then you get to end of Eva and you're like, what?
Nani the
Can we
fuck?
talk- Yeah, not need a fucking deed. Fucking jerking off over Komoto's body.
Oh no!
Did you see the Lost meme that turned into that? Like,
yes.
Oh my god, I felt gross.
I'm glad I didn't.
I felt gross.
Can we talk for just a second? I don't want to spoil anything for anyone who hasn't started this yet, especially Natai, because I know he hasn't. But in the context of Evangelion, is it just me, or is Darling in the Franxx the most red-pilled anime of all time?
Red pill? What do you mean?
What do you mean by red pill?
Like, it's very, what's the best way to put this? I think there's a lot of societal commentary in Darling in the Franxx. I think it's a lot, the symbolism is a lot deeper, and I think it's basically saying how shitty our modern society is.
Sidebar, before we get into it, just a note, again, I haven't seen Darling in the Franxx, so I don't know what type of symbolism there is in there, but, wait, just keep in mind that back when they made Evangelion, they used a lot of Christian symbols and stuff, and when they were asked about it, said, oh, it just looked cool, it doesn't really mean anything.
Yeah,
so just keep that in mind.
I mean, yeah, but they did say that after the fact. They didn't say it while it was airing.
Sure, but just keep that in mind.
But no, and we are for sure, when Darling in the Franxx finishes airing, we are doing a full-on spoiler cast on the podcast.
It's more than just a spoiler cast. It's gonna be like a deep dive, like,
it's a
the
dissection.
Fuck does this mean? Like, there's a lot there to
An
digest.
autopsy.
I think the most recent episodes can be accurately described with a JonTron quote, which is, "We're breaking the conditioning!" Like, holy shit. This is... I haven't seen something that isn't necessarily morally... There aren't as many moral implications to it as there are just... I haven't had something make me feel like this in a long time. Well, I say this as I listened to a song last night, laying in my bed, and just started weeping for an era that I will never see. But, like, that's beside the point. I'm a sappy
Was it the Soviet national anthem?
Close. I was dreaming of the 50s and how I'll never get to drive up and down the coast of California, sipping on milkshakes and watching the night sky.
Unpopular opinion: milkshakes are disgusting.
Have you never been to Steak and Shake?
I have. There's one about 5 minutes from my house, and if I wanted ice cream soup, I would eat ice cream soup.
So people that have been following me for a while will know that Recon used to take place in it actually stands for Reynolds Corner Nerf Club, and on Reynolds Corner Road there is a Steak and Shake, and we used to play Nerf until fucking 2 a.m. some nights, 3 a.m. on other nights. Like, it was always a solid Friday or Saturday night, and afterwards we would always just kind of stumble into a Steak and Shake. And we would be just, like, drenched in sweat. We'd smell. We'd be tired. And we'd just be like, look, we're all together. Don't worry. We'll tip you well. Like, we actually got to know the waitresses that would work these late-night shifts because, like, there's nobody else around other than drunks. They don't have to deal with the drunks. They'd rather deal with some smelly people. And we would always leave, of course, a very healthy tip. But then we'd leave a bunch of Nerf darts on the table, too, as a little calling card. They loved us.
Just put a giant Nerf symbol in the sky, I'll be
It's like the bat symbol.
This is my bat signal. Just Nerf right in the clouds.
Just a Nerf sign. I wouldn't have thought of that. That's good. I like that.
It's pretty decent. I mean, that's what my logo's designed after, the Nerf symbol. It's pretty solid.
So I had a thought. So getting back to what I said about about Darling in the Franxx being a red-pilled anime, I can actually relate that to something that's actually happened somewhat recently here in the U.S. I'm sure that a lot of people have probably heard about this. They may not be like really steeped in this, but a few weeks ago, our Lord and Savior Kanye West.
All right, hold on. Let me settle in for this one. Okay, hit me.
Okay, so Kanye West basically caused a whole shitstorm when he said that he basically... The exact quote was, "I like the way Candace Owens thinks." And if you don't know, Candace Owens is this... she's a black woman who used to be like a super like leftist liberal person, and then she had like this epiphany one day, and she woke up and she was like, "Oh, I'm on the right, not the left." And she's kind of been like going around giving lectures about like, you know, conservative politics and stuff like that. and Kanye just put out this tweet that said, "I like the way Candace Owens thinks," and everyone went all in an uproar. And Kanye's like, wow, I just like the way Candace Owens thinks. And he went on this philosophical rant about all the ills of society, and he was right about a lot of it. I won't lie. But all of the stuff that he was saying made him sound like very, very like conservative politically. And everyone was losing their shit. And then I can't remember. I think it was Chance the Rapper. I think it was Chance the Rapper chimed in with a tweet of his own when everyone was losing their shit. And he's like, "You guys know that black people don't have to be Democrats, right?" And then he's like,
Oh God.
and then everyone gave him shit about that. So basically, this whole thing is about how it's kind of evolved into how, you know, black people still view themselves as if they're on the plantation and they don't have to, and it's become like this huge racial political thing. That's like the Cliff Notes version. You can go and kind of look deeper into it if you want, but that's what I think Darling in the Franxx is doing with its like societal symbolism. Like, I honestly think, and I won't know this for a fact until it finishes airing, but I have this sneaking suspicion that Darling in the Franxx, the story of Darling in the Franxx, is actually a societal commentary about SJW culture in the West.
All right, but didn't somebody say that on like some? If it wasn't Crunchyroll, it might have been Mal, and like they got a ton of shit for it.
Yeah, but that's where I kind of got it from. I think it was a forum post on Mal that I think has since been deleted, because it just exploded.
As something of that volatility tends to do.
Would, yeah.
But I think the opening line to this thing was something like, "Hey, do you guys think that there's a lot of SJW symbolism in Darling in the Franxx?" And then of course there were a bunch of people like, "What do you mean? What do you mean? Can you explain?" I mean, it started out really nice, like it was like going to be like a nice conversation. Of course, it escalated very quickly. And this guy kind of explained, like, well, they're talking about, like, traditional gender roles and, you know, male-female, and how, like, to be anything other than that is kind of against society, and it kind of moves society backwards. And then I think that's where it all hit the fan. Like, "What are you saying, that this is anti-homosexual?" It's like, no, I'm just saying that there's some symbolism that shows that.
Right. I think that if you stray too far left or right, they're almost indistinguishable in a sense. Like...
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Like they're so extreme you won't be able to tell if it's too extreme one way or the other. All that you know is that it's an extreme. Like as somebody that has worked with liquid nitrogen, you don't know whether it's too hot or too cold. You just know it is too something, and you don't want it.
Yeah.
Like
it's too much for your skin.
Yes. I actually froze a section of my hand with liquid propane once. That was a bad time. I was
I'll
not
sell propane and propane accessories, but not for you to freeze your hand with, son.
I don't know how I got to be an Eagle Scout, honestly. Like, I'm dumb as a box of rocks. Like,
Wow.
people that know me well enough know that I say this quite often. I am not actually smart. I just know the people that know the answers, so I ask them a lot of questions. Like, I'm dumb. I am hardcore dumb.
I'm gonna borrow a phrase from the Monogatari series that I want to so badly use one day in actual conversation without any context.
I am mad scientist.
I don't know everything.
Oh.
I just know.
What I know.
He stole that one from you. Like, you never quoted it. I don't know what you're talking about. And I quoted that. You were gonna quote Monogatari? What happened?
Great minds think alike.
Solid.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I mean, I and we'll talk about this when we do the spoiler cast for Darling in the Franxx. But I have this theory, and I like if it turns out to be like really true when it's all said and done, I want to write like a fucking thesis about this. I want to do like fucking analysis videos for days.
I am very excited to go through the spoiler cast because that show it's just going to be too fun to pick apart and dissect.
At this point,
I'm excited to watch it when it's done.
At this point, this is the only thing I'll say about the actual story. I'm concerned because we have 4 episodes to go, and I really don't think they can very nicely wrap
Oh my god,
the
that's
story
true. We
points.
only have 4 more.
I don't want to think about
I am-
that fact.
Oh, I completely lost track because I haven't watched the newest one, so I'm just like forgot where I was.
You say that, but when I watched the second to last episode of Code Geass Season 2, I thought the same thing, and they managed to wrap it up nicely. So
All right.
Yeah, and they're
That's
gonna manage to
true.
fuck it up with season 3.
let's not talk about that. Let's not talk about it,
The
please.
second time that I ugly cried on my friend's couch was when they got a new cat, and they needed somebody to make sure that their new cat didn't murder their old cat, or vice versa. Because Evan is a mean old man, and Poe is a good girl. And I was sitting on their couch watching Suredure Children, which, if you've never watched Suredure Children, it's like
It's so
fanfic one-shots. Like, they're so feel-good. I was the second to
Caesar
last
Children.
I wouldn't even
episode.
say
Caesar
they're
Children.
fanfic one-shots. I'd feel like they're just daydreams that normal people have had in their lives at some point.
All right, guilty as charged. But like, they're just so feel good. I was in the second to last episode, and I just started bawling at the end of it. I'm like, you can't end it like no, they can't do no, like, without spoiling
This
anything.
is a really big move.
Holy shit, man! Do they make you like wait to the last minute for that payoff, and it makes you beg for a season 2.
At this point, though, with Darling the Franxx, I think one of 3 things is going to happen. Either it's going to have like a really phenomenal ending and be remembered as one of the best anime ever.
No, we're gonna fight about
It's
it for
gonna
20
have-
years. Like,
I know we're gonna fight over who best girl is. It's not Bichiko. Fuck off, you bitches.
I'm with you there.
Damn.
It's either gonna have, like I said, it's either gonna have a phenomenal ending that we're gonna talk about for ages. It's gonna have an absolutely shitty ending that we're all gonna like hang our heads low about. It's like, or it's gonna have the final episode after the credit sequence is gonna fade to black, and all you're gonna see is to be continued.
Which I am perfectly okay with.
Trigger. I know. Second seasons aren't your thing, but maybe.
Thanos will return.
Thanos will return.
I don't feel
Zero
so
two will
good,
return.
darling. Like, oh.
02. I don't feel so good.
Hey man, listen, the second OP to Darling the Franxx is a little too close to home, if you know what I mean. So
that creepy whisper.
I love, like,
It was a careless whisper.
oh, that was good. That was
Which
good.
needs to be the name of a stand.
oh, it's gotta be.
Oh yes, please.
Listen, we don't have time to get into that. I could rant about that for ages.
It's like me with the color green.
We'll save that.
Holy crap.
We'll save that for the next WTF episode. And
There
actually,
you go.
speaking of that, we are kind of it's been a very long time since we last did one of these WTF episodes. We're kind of thinking about making this a monthly thing, so we can just get on here and just rant about bullshit for an hour and a half. So
Tell us what you think on our Discord and Facebook group.
Yes.
yes. And that's actually a great place to end it because we talked about maybe 2 things that
We
we
did,
actually
like-
wrote down to talk
Alex,
about.
I just want you to
Wow,
know that
yeah.
I tried
And-
really hard to steer you into one of the conversations you wanted to have, and you just, like, pumped the brakes
I
hard.
Yeah.
also with
It was
that,
hilarious.
I know.
I succeeded 1 time out of the 3 times I tried.
Yes. Hey, it was still good though.
I agree. It was great.
I was
It was
gonna
still
go
good.
crawling in my skin, like, don't worry about me.
Can we not get a copyright strike, please?
I
Lord.
think that none of us are
Rest
good
in
enough
peace,
at
Chester.
singing that
What
we
a
will
great
get
man.
copyright strike.
Yeah, no, not me. For sure.
Nah, if you're not gonna sing "Shining Justice,"
Oh, I will sing that.
Maybe
I know that whole
brand
song
new.
like the back of my hand.
all right. Anyway, so thank you all. Let me try that one again. Thank you all out there for dropping.
This must be the work of an enemy stand.
45 an hour and 30 minutes in. I fucked it up.
Gotta restart it
Thank
all,
you all there
guys.
for-
Gotta restart it from the
Yeah, we
beginning.
got to restart from the beginning now. Thank you all out there for dropping in to listen to us. We hope you enjoyed it because we always enjoy bringing this stuff to you. If you want to check out previous episodes of the podcast, you can find us on SoundCloud, iTunes, and or YouTube. If you want to keep up with what we're doing and have a little more fun, you can join our Discord server, become a member of our Facebook group, follow our Twitch channel, and or visit our website. And as always, if you have any questions, comments, criticisms, or concerns on this or any episode, feel free to shoot us an email. Links to all these things will be down below in the description. And be sure to tell us if you actually want us to do this every month, because we kind of like just getting together to bullshit about things anime and non-anime related. Other than that, as always, I have been your host, Alex, and I will see you next time. Say goodnight, everybody.
Good morning, everyone.
I'll find you.
Break down, dinner.